At the White House, a somber President Trump spoke to the nation about the mass shootings in Texas and Ohio.
My fellow Americans, this morning, our nation is overcome with shock, horror, and sorrow.
In his remarks, the president focused on mental health issues, and he warned of the perils of the internet and violent video games in the wake of the gun violence. But he said little about new gun control measures. Trump also tried to address some of the more disturbing trends on display in the country in recent years.
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. These sinister ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place in America. Hatred warps the mind, ravages the heart, and devours the soul.
Several Democrats have condemned the president and his rhetoric in the wake of the mass shootings in the states of Texas and Ohio. Presidential contender Beto O'Rourke, who is from Texas, said the president's past attacks on immigrants have contributed to the nation's divisive discourse.
And then we need to stop the hatred and the racism and the intolerance and the fear-mongering that we're seeing throughout this country and seeing it in the highest positions of power and public trust.
In El Paso, Democratic Congresswoman Veronica Escobar said the toxic political environment can be a catalyst to violence.
There are deadly consequences to bigotry, racism, and hate. There are deadly consequences to dehumanizing our fellow human beings.
President Trump has a history of making controversial comments on race and immigration, including his 2017 assessment of the violent clash involving neo-Nazi protesters in Charlottesville, Virginia.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people.
Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway said the president's political opponents were trying to take advantage of the situation.
He put politics and partisanship aside. He did not call out those who baselessly and shamelessly and immediately and relentlessly politicized this issue.
Trump's edgy speaking style and loyalty to his base is a key part of who he is as a political figure, says analyst Kyle Kondik.
Asking Trump to be, quote, presidential in a traditional sense, you might as well ask the man to be completely different than what he is. I mean, this is just sort of the way that he acts, and I think that it has prevented him from growing his level of support.
The latest Gallup poll shows Trump's approval at 42%, while 54% disapprove of how he handles his job as president. Jim Malone, VOA News, Washington.